Alright guys, I got some requests to do a video on my Koni shock and Strano spring setup, so here it is. I've had it on the car for about a month and a half, 2 months now, and I've had to adjust some things a couple of times. This was the first time I had ever lowered a car, so it was definitely a little bit of a learning curve there. I have other videos on my channel on how to do it and how I did it, and it seems to have worked okay. Definitely some things I did wrong initially, but I've corrected those since then. Overall, I think the ride quality is pretty good. I was expecting worse, to be honest. You can hear it's, doing some creaks and stuff there. I think I didn't tap the metal collar on good enough on the shock, but no big deal. Anyway, I think the ride quality is surprisingly decent. As you can see, the height of the car is really just perfect. That's exactly what I was going for. I was going for low without being like ridiculous, and I think that looks just about perfect. I'm very, very happy with the stance of the car. Handling is phenomenal. I'm sure there's better setups on the market, but for the money, I think this is about as good as it gets. I'm really, really happy with how it handles. And I'm on these all-season Kumho tires. They're 245 stock size. They're pretty pathetic as far as, performance tires go. But even with the lame tires, the car handles tremendously. I took it to the track a couple weeks ago. I got a video of that on my channel as well. Car did wonderful. Because I did track the car on all stock suspension on these same tires last fall, and the car just felt like it was a mess. It was just body roll and plowing, and it was just awful. Now, all that has changed with just a simple shock and spring swap. So, and these shocks aren't anything fancy. They really are just kind of like stock replacements. But the springs are really where the magic happens. So, Sam Strano and Strano Parts, he made these springs. Definitely the way to go. I like these a lot. Car handles epic, and for the money, I mean, you really can't beat it. I think I got about $500 or $600 in the whole suspension setup, and massive improvement over stock. Maybe I'll try the Koni yellow shocks someday when I'm win the lottery or something, but on my college kid budget, the Koni orange shocks seem to be doing just fine for me. So all in all, kind of perfect setup for what I was looking for. Handling and appearance on a budget, and yeah, I think it delivered. So some things I learned with the swap, with the front shocks, you really got to tighten them down. The top nut, tighten it down a lot further than you would think. There is actually a stopper. The first time I put it on the car, I just tightened it so it was like as much post showing as stock, and then I put it back on the car. Turns out that was loose and it was making all kinds of noise, so I took it back off the car and tightened it down all the way. There is a stopper, so tighten it all the way down and then it'll be quiet. Like I said, I think I messed up the collar. I didn't tap it on. I just have it like sitting on the shock, so that's what the squeaks are coming from. So maybe when I put sway bars on it or something, I'll address that. We'll see how much it irritates me. Sometimes I get irritated and I just end up doing it. But for right now, it's doing okay. It's not making any bangs or anything anymore, because when I first put them on, I didn't have the shocks tightened, compressed all the way with the top nut, and it was making all kinds of noise. So that's all gone. That's fixed. The rear shocks, I think I got one bad rear shock initially, because I think when they threaded the top post of it, I can show you guys actually. It was my driver's side rear shock. So as you can see, I got these handy dandy little carpet cutouts cut in. I did that myself. As you can see, it looks kind of like a hack job, but really it's not that bad. Like when you tuck them back in, like you really can't tell I cut anything, and it's not like a part of the car you're looking at all the time, so I didn't really care. Sorry for that. I got allergies, that time of year. But so this shock's good. You see that it's got a lot of post showing, a lot of threads showing. It's nice and tight. It's been that way for a couple hundred miles. When I first put the first rear shock on, it was like it was really hard to thread on, and I kept trying it different ways, and it was just not going well. Eventually I got it to thread on, and I checked it about 200 miles later, and the bolt was like almost off of the shock, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just tighten it back down. That did not go so well. I actually ended up having the bolt was seized onto the shock, so I had to cut the bolt off, and it completely destroyed the shock in the process. Luckily these are cheap shocks, so it wasn't a big deal. For $74 I got another one from Summit Racing, and I just threw it on there, and then that was fine. So I'm assuming I just got a bad shock, but not a terrible thing to fix. But definitely a learning curve. I had never done suspension work before, I don't think. Definitely never anything this extensive. But the end product is pretty cool. I'm very happy with the stance of it. I can't wait to get new wheels for it. Because, you know, stock wheels, I mean, this car lowered on stock wheels, it looks pretty cool, but I'd like, you know, 17 or 18 inch wheels, maybe a little wider, you know, 9.5 inch wide or something like that. But, you know, just for being stock wheels and tires, the thing looks pretty tough, and handling is crazy. Can't wait to get some good tires on there. I think this thing's going to be a little track rocket. So yeah, all in all, my impressions of the whole suspension setup are quite positive. Most of the issues that I had were really just, you know, install errors, to be honest. The one thing with the driver's side rear shock was just that wasn't really my fault. That was just when they threaded the post of the shock, it must have been funky. But you get what you pay for. I bought the cheapest decent shocks I could. So I bought a new one and I put it on there, and it seems to be doing fine, so no big deal. But I'm going to be doing this same exact suspension setup on my other car, my Trans Am, because I'm pretty happy with it on this car. This car's kind of the guinea pig, so you know how that goes. Experiment with the cheaper car, but I'm happy with it. It really handles nice. The ride quality is not bad, all things considered. It's definitely firmer than stock. You know, if you have a daily driver F-body, you might not want to lower it, but I think I probably still would, just because it looks so sweet. And whenever I look at a stock F-body now, I'm like, ew, things got to be lower. And these Strano springs just put it at the perfect height. I mean, it's, you know, pretty much level, and it's exactly how I would want it to look. So I was extremely pleased with the quality of the ride height, and even the ride quality itself. It doesn't ride bad. And Michigan's got some terrible roads, and I've taken this car down it with the new suspension, and this car doesn't do bad. And I haven't gotten it aligned yet since I put the shocks on. I didn't really think it was necessary, because I found a way to replace the shocks and springs without messing with the tie rods. So I haven't gotten it aligned yet. I figured, you know, these tires are kind of like cheap and garbage anyway, so who really cares? And it seems to be doing fine. I know everybody says get it aligned, but to be honest with you, I don't think these tires are worth it. When I get new tires, I'll probably get it aligned, because, you know, I'll have tires that'll be like worth caring about. But so far, it's really has been fine. So I think as long as your alignment was good to begin with, I think you can get away with not aligning it. At least temporarily, you know. I don't drive this car a ton. I have other daily drivers. This is just a play car. So this thing doesn't see a ton of miles, so I'm not entirely concerned about the alignment of it. I did get an adjustable panhard bar. That'll be a whole different video. Whole lot of fun there. Something that should have been very easy ended up being a big pain. Again, I'll put that in a separate video. Stay tuned for that. Very fun stuff. But yeah, suspension, good. Koni orange shocks, pretty good for the money. I don't know that you're going to be able to find something better for that price. And the Strano springs, fantastic. I don't think you're going to be able to find anything better than that at any price, to be honest. Unless you're talking like $2,000 coilovers, which I think is stupid. I mean, I guess if you have the money for it, then go for it. But, you know, I spent $1,600 on this entire car when I bought it, so I'm not going to spend $2,000 on coilovers. But $600 to completely transform the suspension of the car, heck yeah, that's a win. Strano parts will definitely be getting more of my money in the future, because so far the money I've given them is going very well. So definitely recommend. I have other cars that I will be putting parts similar to this on, and very happy with it so far. So thanks for watching, guys. Got any questions, comment? Like I said, this entire video is by request, so feel free to make some more requests. I like making videos that you guys want to watch. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.